Charlie, how surprised were you by Barcelona's dominance, specifically in the second half in this one?
Very surprised that Barcelona played the way that they had been playing all season, with aggressive, high lines at the Bernabéu. And the scoreline, yeah, it's 4-0, but Madrid were so careless in front of goals. In front of goal, it was such a lackluster performance from Mbappe. I was really surprised at his inability to stay on side, because it comes down just to timing. You get 1, 2, 3, but 8 times he was offside in this match. And Vinny Jr., it felt like all this Ballon d'Or talk went to his head, because there was one opportunity where he cuts inside and he opts for a near post finish, what we've seen Mbappe do over the years, and he doesn't even put it on target. And he had the whole goal to choose from, not only a pass to Mbappe that could have went in for a tap-in, but it felt like he was selfish in the wrong moments in this match. And then Mbappe was just off. The timing was off. They had so many chances. In the first half, I thought, okay, Madrid, they look like the goals will come. They were in advanced positions.
It was scoreless at the half, which I think we were all surprised about, because we thought that this was going to be a goal fest.
And this is the offside goal here. It was beautiful chip from Mbappe. But then what we talked about earlier, Hansi Flick, a tactician, he makes a halftime substitution and he puts in Frankie de Jong at halftime for Fermin Lopez. Now, Fermin Lopez, he's been very good, and he's more cutthroat. He's a little bit more aggressive in the attacking half. Not so much a facilitator like Frankie de Jong. He comes back.
Right, and he put Pedri in the Fermin Lopez position, and Frankie de Jong gave a little bit of more stability and balance.
And he connects 1-2s.
With the back line on top of that, because Real Madrid were poaching. That really changed the game, like you mentioned. Because
39 touches from Frankie de Jong in that half, to 19 for Fermin Lopez in the first half. But
two different roles, right?
What's important is Frankie de Jong is that connective tissue.
Exactly.
From the back line to that attacking trio. And Lewandowski has 10 goals in his last 5 games. Rafinha is an absolute monster. What we're seeing in the attack is variation, there's unselfishness, and then Lamine Yamal, who's 17, doesn't play like a 17-year-old kid. It is incredible. Hansi Flick has done. One manager gets the most out of Lewandowski and gets the most out of the team and the style of play. They haven't lost that La Masia tiki-taka style. It's just more aggressive.
Players from La Masia showed up to the Bernabéu and beat Real Madrid 4-0. 8 players. And the margins are so thin. Football's very funny.
Yes.
Because it felt like a matter of time that Real Madrid would stay on side and score, and they had clear-cut opportunities. We could be talking about Real Madrid going into the locker room.
Jude Bellingham had a complete free header in the.
He did nothing that game.
You gotta give credit to Barcelona for not abandoning their identity, for sticking to the high line. It was a high risk, and they got it spot on, because Madrid knew if they play a high line,
we're gonna have chances.
We're gonna have 2 or 3 chances.
Yeah.
They're gonna catch us most of the time, but we're gonna have 2 or 3 chances. And I mean, you look at this graphic. It is remarkable, and clearly there is merit in this. But again, the margins are so thin, and they just got it right.
It was a hell of an offside trap as well. I mean, they played it to a T. And I don't think enough can be said. We could sit here and go over tactics, adjustments, players who played above their age, players who played above their weight, tactics that worked magically. We could talk about all that. Not enough was said about Real Madrid should be absolutely embarrassed that Barcelona came into their house and beat them 4-0. But I mean, this is more. This isn't. You know, we've given Ancelotti a lot of credit for the calmness in which he carries himself, the ability to make those adjustments. He didn't make enough adjustments in the second half, which is what we expected to happen.
I don't think it's an adjustment, a second half adjustment, because for Madrid this season, the writing's been on the wall. There have been symptoms to a greater issue here. And I think, for some reason, the comeback win against Stuttgart in the Champions League right before Clasico masked...
Dortmund.
What did I say? Stuttgart? Excuse me. Dortmund masked...
They still gave up 2 goals in the first half.
Problem. Defensively, they've been leaking a lot of goals this season.
Do we need to recalibrate our expectations for Real Madrid?
Absolutely.
No, because they could easily come back.
Don't change.
Well, okay, fine.
No.
But we need to settle our feet in reality of where Real Madrid collectively is at the moment.
Yes, because we're looking at their potential, and we're looking at Mbappe. Mbappe has not delivered yet to what he can. Vinicius Jr. and Jude Bellingham, that trio, and we saw it with Rodrigo. They have yet to understand the timing and how to get the most out of one another. It feels like Jude Bellingham did the whole selfless act for this up into this part of the season, and he was okay with that. At least that's what he told the media. I'll do all the dirty work for Vinny, Mbappe, and Rodrigo. But it hasn't worked. And now in this game, they said, oh, go back to what you were last year. Revert to being that Jude Bellingham that gets into the box and scores all these goals. And it looked like he was a little rusty.
There hasn't been a single game this season, sorry, just quickly. There hasn't been a single game this season where Real Madrid from start to finish taking care of opponents like that. It feels like we often get carried away of what we saw at the Bernabéu midweek, this energy that the Bernabéu brings and how Real Madrid can turn a game on its head. That will win you a Champions League in moments throughout a season because the Bernabéu can show up like that. But week in, week out, you can't just rely on, oh, the quality is going to get you over the line. Mbappe is going to score a goal. Vinicius is going to score.
We'll catch him in the second half.
It needs to be good week in, week out, and it's not there yet because we expect it to be at that elite level.
Mbappe didn't look like the player we've seen in the past. He didn't look like the player from the World Cup final. He didn't. He'll find his way. He'll figure it out. The trio up front, they'll get it. Clearly what they miss is Toni Kroos. They did not bring in a replacement for Toni Kroos. All the biggest forwards in the game, they all want to play at Real Madrid. That's the club everybody wants to play for. Right now, you need to find a midfielder that can replace what Toni Kroos was able to bring to this club.
I want to take it back to Barcelona, who are now 6 points clear at the top of the La Liga table. Is this sustainable? Do we see them faltering at any point?
It's a high-wire act. For sure.
Yeah.
I think it is sustainable. And you look at the ages in the squad, right? It's not that this is a tired old squad either.
Sure.
So I do think that this will continue throughout the season, but you have to also imagine there will be games where you get caught.
High risk, high reward.
Right.
Guys, they weren't even at their best.
The
Danny
best part,
Olmo's not even healthy enough to start.
The best part about
Frankie de Jong's not even healthy enough to start.
And the way that he plays is they play so high that when they do turn it over, they're so close to goal. So they're going to always get chances. But there will be games like Real Madrid in this match who it just, for whatever reason, doesn't go in. Or they're off by an inch or by a pass that goes off adrift.
Yeah.
And a team catches you on a counter. That will inevitably happen. But consistency, I think, is key with this squad, and I do think that they're still going to, throughout the season, play this way and score a tremendous amount of goals.
The next Clasico is going to be must-watch.
Unbelievable how a kid with acne and braces he wanted his goal so bad, shows up and goes like that.
He does the calma.
He did the calma. Yo estoy aquí. I'm here in the Bernabéu.
He did the calma at Bernabéu.
17.
That's Ronaldo's
crazy.
It's
you got to be crazy.
He's awesome.
You have to be 17.
Did you
You have to be 17.